What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another of my episode. And in this one, I want to talk about the proposal that Bukele made to Donald Trump to take in U.S. prisoners, either illegal immigrants or U.S. citizens. I'm also going to talk about a little bit about that prison, and of course, he got a lot of criticism for what he did. Human rights organizations calling it inhumane, degrading, violating basic rights, the due process. So what I was able to read is that Bukele, as a president, was able to call national emergency, and which gave them, in his constitution, would give them the right to waive those basic rights to address his national emergency. And he did. In 2023, he built this massive prison that holds 40,000 people. And one of the reports that I read is, just to give you a good idea of how big this prison is, they said it's 7 football fields. Different articles said each cell contains 60 to 80 people. Another article said 80 to 100 people. So let's put it between 60 to 100 people in each cell. They have one bathroom, no mattresses, no sheets or blankets, and a basin to shower. No visits, 30 minutes outside that big cell to exercise in a hallway. And they're actually guilty to proven innocent in that prison, in that country. We have way more rights here in the United States than you would ever have in another country. Also when it comes to prison as well. So when I was hearing about this proposal and I was reading about it, I was very interested. Like, man, okay, well, I did see the prison that Bukele built in his country. And I wanted to see how effective his action was. And it was pretty effective. Salvador was one of the murder capitals of the world. I want to say about over 1,000 unalive people pretty much every year. Since he built that prison and he started arresting all these gang members, and the crime rate of Salvador went down to 114, 144 as of 2024. And it's bittersweet for the citizens in that country, because there was families that were worried about their loved ones that had nothing to do with gangs. They were just rounded up and haven't talked to them, spoken to them in a while. I want to say about a year, a little over a year. And then there's citizens that appraise President Bukele for his effort, for making a big change in their lives. There's a lot of citizens that we're talking about how they're able to live in peace, how they're able to build a business without being extorted, that they're able to walk late at night without worrying of getting mugged or being pressed by another gang member. I mean, there's a lot of good things that a lot of these citizens were talking about. The approval rate of the Presidente of Salvador went up to 90%. So imagine a country that was infested with drugs, gangs, violence. You couldn't live in peace because even your own children were being targeted to be recruited to these gangs, or else they were going to face the consequences if they chose not to join their gangs or participate in their activities. So the people in Salvador lived in fear, in constant fear that they were going to either end up being unalive, or their son was going to be recruited, extorted, victimized, or they themselves being victimized, extorted. So they lived in a constant fear. And Bukele understood that. And as a president, he took the actions that he needed to make his country safe, his leadership, to being prosperous to his country, to lead his country. That's what he's there for. Now, people are being processed in prison. They don't go to court. They do a video court. So do get processed within the prison system and they get released. It takes them a while from the reports I have read. Some have been there over a year. Some of the people that were in those jail cells, they say that there is horrible, that there is abuse there, that there is people that have been unalive there. He also said that they don't feed you as much. So it's a harsh prison to go to. A lot of these inmates that are in that prison now are labeled as psychopaths. Some are doing 100, 200 and something years. So they are the most dangerous of the dangerous. Now to get to where that proposal of Donald Trump taking and shooting U.S. citizens to another country to do their time, we can only see what happens. We can only see how true that's going to be and how would that work. But I was very interested when that was being talked about. and me myself being in prison for almost 2 decades, to be sent to another country where you're completely isolated, and we're not even thinking about the language barriers and the actions of Presidente Bukele's, what he did for his country and the crime rate coming down. I mean, that's something to think about. It's not right, but also you can't say it's wrong. That's his country. He's the leadership. And he has released innocent people from that prison after they've been processed and seen that they're innocent. So it's just a little backwards of how he's doing it. But if the citizens feel safer, the citizens are applauding his efforts and his effectiveness of his plans, and they're living happier and peaceful, how can you say that he's in the wrong? He's actually doing some good in some sense. Just wanted to bring all this to you guys' attention and see what you guys think. Let me know if the President of Salvador is doing something right or he's doing something wrong. Both can be true at the same time.